Hey Pisces, welcome back to the Guiding Chariot and welcome to your Gemini season reading. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm sending you guys lots of love. Let's get the house rules out of the way so we can jump to your reading. So as always, this will be a general reading for all Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Cross watchers are always welcome. My only ask is that you take these messages as they resonate. Don't try to force anything. If something comes up, it doesn't make sense, doesn't fit your scenario, just means it was for someone else, leave it on the table and take the rest, my loves. Alright, Pisces. We're going to do one more. Alright. So we are first going to pull an animal spirit for you, and then we're going to dive into the tarot. Alright. Ooh! Pisces, this is a hot... Now, I think you are now the third sign to get butterfly. Fourth? No, a third. Pretty sure you're the third sign to get butterfly. So, big, big, big moment. Part of me almost wonders, I wonder if it was all the... just blanked. I wonder if it was all the mutable energies that got butterfly. Because, ooh, Gemini season. Gemini season is going to be big for not only Geminis, well, it's kind of big for everyone, but I feel like especially the mutables like yourself are really going to feel the energies of this season. Butterfly card, though, kind of obvious. All about transformation, right? We always think of a butterfly as a symbol of metamorphosis, which it is. This is kind of what you're going through. This is your big moment as we move through Gemini season. So there is a big shifting and a big opening. And I've used this analogy a couple times. Who was I'm trying to think who the last person was that got butterfly. It's just, maybe it'll come to me later. But I keep getting this visual of like the chrysalis starting to crack, right? And then the butterfly comes out. And that's kind of what's happening for you, my lovely Pisces. It's this cracking, like whatever. And this cracking might be different for everyone. Well, it will be different for everyone, of course. But I feel like for Pisces, we'll see what comes up in your tarot, but it's the cracking I'm seeing more so. Not that you're cracking, but it's that opening, right? You're being released from something. It may be something emotional because you are a water sign, so there might be some sense of freedom coming to you as things come up and as we kind of have to replay things during Mercury Retrograde. This might be a huge opportunity for you to really break through and really break free of some restricting kind of case, right? Because normally the other two signs that got butterfly, I actually saw. One, I saw like the actual butterfly, which is great, super fantastic. One was like the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis and kind of just like hanging. And if you've ever seen that like time-lapse process, the butterfly starts to dry, the wings get harder and open, and it's fabulous. You guys, it's just the chrysalis, but it's like that crack. It's like literally the shell splitting and opening. So to me, it's almost more this like sense of freedom and opening, which is kind of amazing if you think about it. With that being said, because when that energy is kind of out of balance, if there's a lot of resistance, this particular energy manifests in a much different way, and it's almost the opposite, right? We start getting anxious or incredibly angry because we start feeling constricted, right? We start feeling like, we're tied down, so then we start to fight more. So just be aware of that vibe. I don't necessarily say that and be like, you're all going to get angry. Like, that's not the case. But if you are, that's probably because that like breaking, that cracking moment is kind of upon you, right? So it may kind of force you to like bust through that barrier. So just something to be incredibly mindful. Definitely going to be a season where some self-love is going to be super important, especially for those of you who really are feeling that retrograde really heavily, right? So instead of staying in that vibe and staying so tense and staying so like, be really compassionate with yourself. Because it's not that journey is bad, right? But, sometimes that's how we break through of those patterns. We break through of those cycles. Sometimes it has to get so tough that we come out kicking and screaming, right? Bottom of the deck, Daughter of Swords. So this would be the Page or Princess of Swords, depending what you're used to. honestly, this underlying energy of being the radical, thinking different, free expression, right? This is a completely new way to look at things. You'll know if you've gotten, you know, the Page of Swords. Yep. Did I not talk about some emotional stuff? Look at that. And here's that butterfly, and look, here's the chrysalis. I'm telling you, people. I'm telling you. Oh, can't rate it. Anyway, let me oh my. All right. Okay, we're going to come back to that. But if you've gotten the Page of Swords in one of my previous readings, you know I always quote the live action Cinderella, because there's a line in there where Cinderella is talking to the prince, and she says, just because it's what is done doesn't mean it's what should be done. Something like that. That may not be an exact quote, but that's the idea. This is the vibe. Like, nope, just because that's how things have been done, or that just because that's how I've done things in the past, or I thought that was right, nope, something has to evolve. Something's changing. Something's different now. I'm going to break the mold. And literally, you're breaking the mold, the case, you might even be breaking the whole factory, right? So, recent past, we've got here this Three of Swords. So definitely connected to some emotional pain here. This Three of Swords could be old patterns, right? So this hurt could go back, weeks, months. Do I want to say years? It could be years. I think that might be a little dramatic, if I'm honest. But the base of something could have happened a long time ago. And it's kind of this hurt that's, I don't want to say you've been acting out of fear-based, intentions and things like that, because I don't believe that's the case. But I feel like there's this, when this particular energy gets triggered, it does make you behave differently, right? It does make you, make choices that maybe you wouldn't make otherwise, right? I don't think this is literally a hallmark of your character or anything, but I think there is a trigger in there that Mercury retrograde, and actually we have 3 retrogrades all kind of descending upon us at the same time. But I think this is something that is just one little tiny thing, but again, when triggered, it fully changes the way you see things, right? With this 8 of Swords, this full entrapment, right? Why does this, and whoever the other sign was that got this, it was kind of this energy of being held back, being forced in. It might actually have been, was it sad? No, it wasn't sad. I don't know. I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll find it. I'll tag it in the comments. So when you watch this, well, not right when you watch this, if it's right when it came out, but eventually, maybe check and we'll see. But it's this thought that this is just how it is. This cycle keeps repeating, or it's that belief that people are always going to do this to me because it happened before and it was really painful, and I'd never want to go through that again. So anything that remotely resembles that, you start sliding back into that headspace, right? And it's a heavy thing. It really is a heavy energy, but I promise you that is not the case. You are literally rewriting that storyline with this butterfly energy. And especially in this particular deck, the way it was designed, it's still the 8 of Swords, which we know is, kind of restrictive energy, but it is kind of an imaginary one. All of this stuff exists in our mind, because even look at you in the chrysalis. Look where you were smart enough to put yourself, literally on the 8th sword. If you need help cutting through this shell, you literally came equipped with it. It's right there for you. So this is something completely in your power to affect and to change. It's not something that requires, outside help. You are in control of this. You can make this happen, right? Which is a really positive thing. Then we also have this 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups speaks to options, right? It speaks to, yes, it can be some confusion as well, but looking at this, it's speaking to the options. You have ways out of this, right? Some of them may be hazy, some of them might be super clear, some of them you may not even want. That makes the choice even easier, because then you can disregard those cups completely. But there are options here. And I will say, having this in your recent past, you're probably already kind of reflecting on, thinking, what would I want to do? Yep, look at that. Yep, beautiful. Just what we needed to see. So, but let me finish that thing. But so, some of you are probably already mulling some things over, or a situation has presented itself, and you're kind of like, well, what do I do about that? I could do this. No, but I also kind of do that. But part of me feels like I want to do this, but I should do that, right? So you kind of got all those things on the table that we're sifting through and sorting through. Because it's emotional, this can definitely be between you and someone close, whether it's a partner, friend, family. The roots of it may have even been, in a relationship like that, which, makes that connection even tighter, which ultimately makes this even harder for you, depending what options you're working on. But again, it's all going to be relative, so take that as it resonates. What I love to see is that your very next card is the Emperor. This is you taking charge. I told you, the ball's kind of in your court, Pisces. The ball really is in your court. It's your turn to serve. So depending how you want this to progress is really up to you. Like, you can choose to stay in what's normal and familiar, and things can stay as they are. I wouldn't recommend that because it doesn't look too comfortable. But it's a choice. You totally could. If you just don't want to deal with it, you don't want to be bothered, leave it how it is. If you want it to evolve and to grow and to repair things between this connection, or even between yourself, that is also in your power. If you want to be reactive and fall for this particular energy, might even make it worse, right? But it's all up to you. I know you're more evolved to know what the right decision is or what's right for you. And I know it's gonna play out well for you, because here you have the Sun card right in the middle of your deck, or right in the middle of your spread. This is beautiful. This energy is all about light and vitality and just life, and bringing, energy and brightness and positivity and sunshine to this situation. So whatever was dark and heavy, especially emotionally, is not going to be that way anymore, which, beautiful. We love that, right? You also have here the Five of Wands. To me, I always see the Five of Wands as internal conflict, where the Five of Swords is external, right? If this was the Five of Swords, I definitely would be like, this is a fight between you and another person. This is something going on inside of you, right? Now, I'm not saying that it means another person's not involved, but I would say this is really an energy where we are playing with different voices inside of us, right? And that could definitely manifest out in the physical world. But the key here is really about sorting out, what are those intentions, right? What are we doing? Because even when I do see this card as competition, which again, I don't in this particular reading, but when I do see it that way, normally it's friendly competition. It's not Five of Swordsy where it's combative or aggressive or manipulative in any way. It's kind of like, how do I want to describe it? It's kind of like, it's like when you're like at work and the boss puts some type of incentive or contest for something, like whoever signs up the most new membership members or whatever membership members. Geez Louises, I could have thought of something better than that. But you know what I mean? Like, if you were, like, let's say we're in Macy's, right? I'm just going to use that as an example. Like, we're in Macy's and there's an incentive. You win a prize for whoever signs up the most, new credit cards this week. It's that kind of thing. No one's really being evil or malicious about it, but, everyone's like, oh, I want to win a, weekend vacation somewhere, whatever it is. It's that kind of vibe. So it's not that someone's coming for you, but I don't know. However, if that resonates, that may not even be fit to your reading. I was just using that as an example because I just don't feel that it's like nasty here. Again, Five of Swords, I would. Five of Wands, not really. But especially since you're showing up as the Emperor here. Could talk to an Aries. We also have Leo here, so you might be dealing with a fire sign. Not necessarily, but could. But with you showing up as the Emperor, it's really balls in your court. It really is up to you what happens next. And it's really based on, how you want to evolve and what you want to see come out of this. Yes. All right. You know what? I'm actually not mad at that. Oh, as I have a hair there. Hold on a second. That was funky. All right. So we have this Father of Cups. This actually I think is super rewarding. So it could be dealing with a water sign. So Pisces, Scorpio. What? Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. Blech. So it could be dealing with another water sign. This could be talking about your energy as well. I think that's more indicative because we started this reading with this Three of Swords, and then you come out with this Father of Cups, which would be the King of Cups. But to me, this is you really mastering your emotional self. In the beginning, we talked about when this trigger, gets hit, when that button gets pushed, you have the potential to respond a different way, react differently, and probably something that you wouldn't do if you were, in a normal headspace. By the end of Gemini season, you kind of have reclaimed, control over your emotional world, which is beautiful, right? Because that's the big, like, hallmark of the Father of Cups or the King of Cups. It's someone who rules his emotions, not the other way around, right? No matter what he's feeling or what emotionally is going on around him, King of Cups stays completely centered, completely grounded. I'm not going to be shaken just because the waves are kicking up, right? I rule this element, so just because you want to act up doesn't mean I'm about to go crazy, right? It's a very strong, confident, and secure energy. And, the elevation of that from this Three of Swords to the Father of Cups, beautiful, amazing. We love all of that. But that's the transformation that's really being, touched upon this season. We have the Wheel of Fortune, so we know things are changing. This, honestly, I feel like could be hinting at some fated events coming into you this season, coming into you. I'm going to need a drink of water. Like, my tongue is just that. But this Wheel of Fortune, as things shift, I think there's actually going to be specific opportunities kind of put in your way that are trying to help you to get past this. Again, that breakthrough we talked about with butterfly. Like, butterfly energy definitely is on your side, trying to, like, hey, we're gonna bust you out of this shell, right? And I didn't feel this with the other two that got this card, but for you guys, I definitely feel like you guys could be seeing butterflies. Like, if you start seeing butterflies around this month, that is literally like spirit being like, we got you, we're here. Like, I didn't feel that with the other two. You guys, I definitely feel like butterflies could start to play. And it doesn't have to be like an actual butterfly, right? I mean, definitely could be. I think for a lot of you it will. You just be walking around outside and a butterfly flies in front of you, you spot one nearby. But it could also just be a butterfly, like maybe you see a picture that has a butterfly in it, or there's, a little butterfly decal on a shop you walk into. Maybe it's their logo, or there's a display with a butterfly in it or something. I just feel like butterfly is going to be kind of present in and around your space. And again, that's just spirit telling you, like, hey, we're helping you out, we're bringing you some things. So don't be too surprised if something starts to happen here. And I almost want to say it'll be like real, like, serendipitous events or meetings or encounters happen that just kind of present you an opportunity, and you'll have that, I don't want to say you have like a deja vu moment, but you kind of have that, like, oh, this is kind of a thing. This was significant. I don't know what it was, but it was a thing. It's kind of a thing. Last card out, you have the Hermit. Now, this particular energy, I think, is speaking more to reflection and introspection, right? Because this particular energy usually is, about not necessarily shadow work, like I would say with some other cards, but it's really about going within, looking within. Could be listening to your guides, so there definitely could be a lot of meditation and quiet time for you that is needed. For some, it might even be required, depending how heavy some of this stuff is. I don't see this as you isolating so much during Gemini season. You might, especially if this retrograde is going to be crazy for you. You might want to just isolate just because it's just too much to handle all at once. So you might need some process time. So you might be a little more by yourself this season. I don't think that's necessarily necessary for everyone, or it's kind of like the expected outcome. To me, this is just more about your light is being reflected inwards. You're kind of checking things out, which this is the perfect time. We have Mercury Retrograde coming up on the 29th, along with, I think Saturn also goes retrograde. Who's the other one? I should look this up before I turn the camera on. I know there's 3, so there is another one. And if I remember correctly, I think when Mercury goes retrograde next week, I think it's actually square, I want to say it's actually square Neptune, which is your ruling planet. So you guys definitely are going to feel a lot of that. But I'm telling you, you are kind of going to be forced inside yourself to not only kind of dig through and re-examine some things like any retrograde kind of asks us to do, but I think a lot of it is finding this light inside of you. Like, where you perceived a lot of heaviness or struggle, I think you're about to find some light when you start to kind of sift through it and go through it. Because we also have those 2 eclipses coming during this season as well. The lunar eclipse coming very, very soon. And then I believe the solar eclipse, I want to say is on June 10th, something like that. I want to say it's June 10th. So 2 very, very powerful resets for all of us. But I think you, especially this lunar eclipse, probably more so. This lunar eclipse really helping to give your emotional space a nice little reboot. And I kind of always describe it, it's like when your computer starts to act funny or starts to heat up. And it happens to my phone all the time, where my phone will start to like, it just doesn't, it's not operating correctly and it's kind of operating slow. So I just turn it off and turn it back on. That's essentially what an eclipse is. It's just like hitting the reset button. It's a darkening of a different space, whether it's sun or moon. It changes what it's affecting. But for the lunar eclipse, it's like a reset on your emotional side. So we just darken everything. So it's like a system shutdown, and then we come back into the light, fresh and ready for a new start. All right, one last card for you. Oh, I love that. I love this. So you guys got Sea Turtle. Isn't he cute? I love the images on these cards. He's adorable. But what's exciting is look what Sea Turtle governs. Beginnings, self-reliance, journey, and home. That beginnings for sure is going to be a big thing for you. Like, we didn't get like the Judgment card or the Death card, but I feel like this in a way is kind of like a rebirth, at least for your emotional space. This is feeling like a rebirth. So to me, that beginnings is more so like a fresh start. For some of you, it actually could be some new opportunities coming to you. That's what could be coming with this Wheel of Fortune, whether it's a new job, new romance. Take it as it resonates, but it could be speaking to some new starts for some of you. But generally, I think this is a fresh restart for yourself, along with having self-reliance there. Journey and home, to me, I almost think home is kind of coming through and standing out. Journey to me just kind of is just speaking to this evolution you're on, but it's the word home. And I think it's because I'm looking at a turtle and it's making me think of how I describe Cancers, which obviously related sign to you, but it's finding safety and security in yourself. Like if you look at a sea turtle, it carries its home on its back. It's always got what it needs. It's always safe. It's always secure. I think this is something you are kind of stepping into and adopting as we move through Gemini season. This is something you really start to really own and hold on to in a real permanent way. Like, I say that because I feel like I said that, some of you heard it and were like, I know this. I know, I've told myself that many times. It's one thing to like believe it in an instant, and then then we'll go through something and our self-doubt gets hit, and we all do it. I'm not singling anybody out, but I feel like by the end of the season, this is really like a solid belief. Like it's almost kind of unshakable, stepping into this kind of level of confidence and security that you feel within yourself, right? Which honestly, super. And actually, I looked up and 333 was on the camera. Just saying. And honestly, that piggybacks what I was talking about, the butterflies showing up in your reality. Spirit is very near you and helping you through this, I was going to say awakening, not transformation, but maybe for some of you it also is an awakening. There could be some major activations here. But to me, it's this sense of self and this security and groundedness in it's not as simple as just saying who you are, right? But I feel like what we're shaking off Gemini season is who we thought we were, or who we thought we should be, or that weird social programming we pick up growing up that we learn from kids in school, how our parents and family were around us when we were little. A lot of that programming, if they weren't healed, right, then they pass some of that damage down to us, and then we're trying to heal from it as we become adults again. So I feel like some of what's going on here has a lot to do with that sense of security in yourself, and that sense of feeling safe, feeling protected. I don't want to say really feeling capable, because I think you guys already have that confidence in yourself. So it's not about questioning if you even could do it, but it's like it's more the, am I safe doing this? Am I putting myself at jeopardy? Could I even handle it? Like, would I be okay, right? What happens if I fall? No one's going to catch me. It's that kind of vibe. Maybe it was Sag, because I feel like Sag's message was kind of like that. But maybe why home is coming up with Sea Turtle. Maybe some of this stuff literally was from like childhood days, and now we're in a space where you're strong enough to really kind of tackle some of that, if not all of it, and really get to a place where you can just kind of like let all of that stuff go and really see the power and the strength within you, around you, in what you've created, and really securing that emotional space instead of being like more reactive to things or feeling triggered from this pain, right? We're finding more strength in that. Honestly, it's kind of like poetically beautiful when you really kind of sit and like think about what that means for you. Before this reading is like half an hour long, I'm going to wrap it there. But beautiful, beautiful season. Might be full of some challenge, but you know, be willing to kind of lean into it and literally know you are being protected through every second of Gemini season, right? Like that has been a major theme, including the angel numbers on screen. Like it's kind of going to be a thing. And as a water sign, you might be already feeling a little more intuitively strong. You might be receiving some more downloads than normal. But again, it's all spirit trying to guide you and trying to make you feel secure in the decisions you're making this month, in the choices you have, right? Talked about that as well. Lots and lots of support and love around you, my friends. All right, Pisces, I'm truly going to wrap it up there. As always, I'm sending you love. I'm wishing you the best. If you enjoyed this reading and you could do me a favor, please make sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know how this resonated for you. It's definitely the best part of doing readings for me. And if you're not already subscribed and get that notification bell on, it's the best way to be notified of your next reading and when it pops up. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and I will see you in your next video, Pisces.